Okay, I got around to watching Abigail and I liked it. Was it a great movie? No, but was it at least good? I like to think so. It was fun. It's a fun movie that you can turn your brain off and just enjoy the antics. With that said, it does have its issues. Like all movies, it has its strengths and weaknesses. Where it falls short for me, along with other people who watched the movie, is the ending. Specifically with Abigail's father, Christophe Lazar. If you haven't watched the movie, I suggest you go and do so, or at the very least watch a review, because I'm going to dive straight into the spoilers. You have been warned, so let's continue. In the beginning of the film, there's this lingering mystery of who Abigail's father is. Throughout the first half of the film, there's this desperation to figure out who he is after Abigail makes an indirect threat to Joey.
Joey?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about what's gonna happen to you.
When Abigail finally reveals her father's name, the most professional member of the group immediately, with no hesitation, attempts to walk away. When the others hear his name, they all start to panic and question if the $7 million they're supposed to get individually is even worth it anymore.
Yo, what's going on, back man?
I'm leaving.
What?
You heard me. You cut up a share however you want. I'm out. That little girl is Christophe Lazar's daughter.
Shit.
Let's just leave. We leave her with some food, make an anonymous phone call, get the fuck out of Dodge.
I like that.
This reminds me of John Wick in the scene where Viggo is telling his son about the beast he's just awoken by attacking John Wick. The difference is we've seen John Wick at his weakest, showing us he's human. As for Abigail's father, we have yet to lay eyes on him and assess for ourselves how dangerous he is, or more specifically, how dangerous he could be, but we kind of get somewhat of an answer from one of the kidnappers when he says this.
That little girl is Christophe Lazar's daughter.
Shit.
Who's Christophe Lazar?
Who's Lazar?
Bro, that's an urban legend, man. Calm down.
No, dude. He's not a fucking urban legend. He's very fucking real, believe me.
Did you catch that? He called the man a myth, insinuating that he is not human. When it's finally revealed that Abigail's a vampire and we witness the carnage that she causes, this really makes us wonder, if she can do this kind of damage with the body of a child, then what the hell is her father capable of in a grown-ass man's body? But here's the thing, do we even want to know? Part of the allure is the mystery, and by the time we get to the end of the movie, Christophe Lazar makes his appearance. And we're given more time than we should with him, in my opinion, because during that time, we're shown how easily Abigail is able to talk him down from killing Joey by guilt-tripping him, which makes him less threatening and conflicts with what was insinuated about him earlier in the film by how the other characters reacted upon hearing his name. I don't think this film did this character justice, and I don't think there's any harm in me giving a crack at it, so enjoy. Abigail struggles to drive the stake down into Frank, and it's only with Joey's help they get close to stabbing him. However, due to all the blood that Frank has consumed, it gives him a boost of adrenaline to start pushing the stake away from his chest. Joey is losing her strength due to all her blood loss, making it easier for Frank to start to overpower them. Abigail tries to think of what else can be done, but suddenly feels her body becoming overwhelmed by something. It's then a hand appears out of the darkness. Frank notices Abigail's eyes, but there's no time to react as the stake goes down. Joey looks at Abigail, unsure if it's over or not. Abigail smiles, ready to assure her that it is, until she feels it. Abigail quickly tackles Joey, pushing her face down on the ground. What the hell? I thought we had a fucking deal! We do. That's why I'm saving your life. Keep your head down and don't look up. What the shit are you talking about? He's here. Joey's hesitant to trust Abigail, but in her weakened state, there's really no other option. It's dead silent as Abigail curtsies to an empty room. Joey begins to wonder if this is still part of Abigail's game and thinks of getting up until she hears someone enter the room. Lambert said that a complication had arose, but you seem to have things under control. Lambert's a traitor. So it appears. Finish it so we can be on our way. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have lasted long enough for you to arrive. But I'm here now, and I took care of it like I always do when you bite off more than you can chew. Despite Joey not being able to see what's happening, she could feel his intent. Her heart begins to race, causing her to lose more blood. She can hear Abigail argue in her defense, but her voice starts to fade as Joey loses consciousness. Unsure if she'd ever open her eyes again, as her life is in the hands of a vampire that tried to kill her just moments ago. If this is how it's going to end, then she wanted to see him. She had a right to look at the bastard that caused all this carnage. She slowly moves her head as she attempts to keep her movements unnoticed. Her hair sticks to her face as she musters the courage to look up. To Joey's astonishment, she wakes but quickly scans the room for vampires. To her relief, she's alone, at least at first glance. She wastes no time making her way out of the mansion. When she gets in the car, she notices an envelope that wasn't there before, and curiosity gets the better of her.
What the fuck?
Alright, let's break it down. I honestly didn't have any real issue with how Joey and Abigail dealt with Frank after he was turned. My only real motive for changing how Frank died was thinking how cool it would be if a hand appeared out of the dark. But when thinking about everything that happened beforehand, this makes more sense. Frank drank a good portion of Abigail's blood, and I don't know how or who she would have replenished herself from in order to fight him off. As for Joey, she's been tossed around like a rag doll, not to mention Frank drank from her as well, and she got punctured in the shoulder. We've also been shown that it does take time to be turned into a vampire unless you drank from the vampire that bit you, so Joey didn't have the strength of a vampire to fight Frank. Taking all that into account, this subtle little change feels more appropriate. With that said, let's finally address the father-daughter dynamic between Abigail and Christophe Lazar. I am aware that the deeper themes of the movie involves parental relationships with their children. That's made very apparent with Joey being our main protagonist and her being shown to be the only one to have a child. However, the reviews that I watched seemed indifferent to this. It's definitely creative when writers incorporate these deeper meaning themes in horror films, and they do go hand in hand, but it's important to know when it's appropriate to add those themes. It definitely could have worked in this movie, however, due to the execution, it seemed that there was more interest and focus in the spectacle of the discovery of vampires and the antics of how to kill it, leaving not that much time or room to dive into the parental relationships. That's why I think it's better not to address it at the end and just focus on the spectacle of being in the presence of one of the, if not the most dangerous man in the world. The reason I have Abigail push Joey's head down and tell her not to look at him is a callback to what was being implied earlier in the film, that this man is so elusive that no one really knows if he exists or not, and there's clearly a reason for that, which gives credence on why the kidnappers were so fearful when hearing his name. Now, when it came to the introduction of this larger-than-life character, my goal was to allude to his mysterious nature. I figured one of the best ways to do this is to not show his face until the literal end, and even then it's just a glimpse. Due to the film boasting about how dangerous Christophe Lazar is, and then showing him being talked down by Abigail and then being a gentleman to Joey and letting her go, it was extremely underwhelming, and that's why I went with the tried and true adage of less is more. Now, as for the conversation between Abigail and her father, there's no real significance except for that last line where he confesses to keeping an eye on her. Finally, we get to the last bit of the rewrite where Joey wakes up and leaves. Yet again, the reason for this change is to highlight the mysterious nature of not just Christophe but also Abigail. The vampires watching Joey leave felt more awkward than it did suspenseful. As for the envelope, I wasn't too sure if I should include the money or not, but given Abigail's playful nature, I figured she'd give Joey some money for the good time, so to speak. And with that, we conclude this rewrite. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know, did you watch the movie Abigail? Did you like it or didn't like it? Did you prefer my ending or the movie's ending? And if you haven't watched the movie, did this video convince you or deter you from watching it? Either way, thanks for watching this video, and like and subscribe!